Hello, hello, everyone. Okay, I'm excited tonight or this evening. As always, I have two lovely people here joining me. Just a little brief description about myself. I'm Latoya. I'm one of the team members over at theprofitroom.com. And what we do, we provide stock market trading and investing in terms of education to help other people either learn the market to create additional income or build wealth over a period of time. So today I have Maurice with me along with his wife, Caroline. How are you two doing on this lovely evening?
Doing well.
We're good.
Awesome. All right. You're good. That's good. So the first question I always like to start off with, of course, is how did you find the profit room? Where did you find or heard about Ernest and myself?
Let me think. I think um, I think just seeing one of your ads, or maybe just following different individuals that are in the same space. And as we continue to search, I think your link popped up, or some videos popped up for you guys. And so we started to watch and was intrigued by what we saw.
All right. What specifically intrigued you compared to like perhaps the others within our industry that you may have followed?
Right. And I followed a couple of my wife and I. Um, we follow maybe like two or three, but what intrigued us about you guys was the fact that you just came off very genuine. And I think that the industry itself, or this particular space, can be so complex, or people can make it very complex and whatnot. And the fact that you guys broke it down at the base level, was communicating so that everyone could get a solid foundation or a good grasp of it, made us feel confident to look a little deeper in your company. And I think that's what started our journey.
Ah, interesting. Well, thank you for trusting in us as always. Also, like, what was your prior journey like? Like, do you have experience trading or even investing in any form?
Um, so we do invest in stocks. We had no experience at all trading. Um, Myself personally, I had paid for a course with another company, but I didn't feel like I was being given the tools that would allow me to be successful away from someone. I mean, away from the teachers or the educators and whatnot. So I wanted to be independent. I felt like there was always something that was missing, that would allow me to attain the success that that will allow me to attain the success that I needed. You know, I believe that the other companies that we were delving into left certain components out. It's like you always had to keep grasping, or asking questions. We always found ourselves, or I always found myself wondering, like, I don't understand the nuances and whatnot. Everything was being communicated in such a fashion that it was just hard for me to grasp all of the concepts and whatnot. So I think your company was very much different in that regard.
So now that you brought that up, I do actually remember a phone call with you. I spoke to
Right.
you. Yeah,
Right.
definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I remember phone calls when I speak to certain individuals and I hear their background story. And then I basically tell you or told you how we are different and what you have to do in order to, get the education you need. So you did come in, you're taking or you took the options course, of course, with the mentorship. What I would like you to speak about now is the actual mentorship component of the actual course. Because what it does basically, it works hand in hand with the course, obviously, right? Now tell them about, the structure. Like, do we throw everything at you at once? And I'm supposing that whatever course you took prior, you probably had all the content and you probably got lost in the content.
Right, right. Well, I think you guys are very well organized. Um, Everything is very systematic, it's very structured. I think you guys work on like the content that you give is piece by piece. Is the way you do it is when you give a module, you focus, you concentrate on that module, and try to learn everything you need to learn. And once you gain a mastery of it, or a good firm fundamental knowledge base, then we would send an email to you guys and let you know that we've completed whatever task that you subscribe to us. And we reach out to you guys, we have dialogue, and then you guys set the agenda for either a meeting or for the homework. And I thought that was excellent, because the course I had prior to this one, it was just you just you just had all this content and you was all over the place, so it was nothing structured about it. And you were able to bounce from, let's say, options like you guys have been able to bounce from that to day trading to swing trading. It was just all over the place. So, and I didn't feel that sense of community and that accountability that you guys offer. I think that was a wonderful for me. That was a great selling point, and I appreciated that.
Definitely. So, yeah, in terms of the structure, like Ernest and I created that particular structure because we thought about a way where when we were initially starting out, how we would have liked to learn the content to
Right,
begin with. So we figured, like, okay, how can people in general, even if someone's not adding on the mentorship and they just purchased a course, the structure, how would they benefit from the actual structure? And we found that we have to break up the content or the modules so they can learn a particular section first, master that as best as they can before moving forward in order for the concepts to, like, towards the mid part, connect. And then everything is like, oh, I get it. So it's systematic where,
right,
okay, I have to understand this, put it together, right? Like you're baking a pie. And
right,
then you can see the actual whole pie come together at the end, like, oh,
right,
this is pretty good.
right,
So that's the way we designed it intentionally, because there's plenty of courses out there, right? And they just throw everything at you. But as a beginner, you may have the information. It's just similar to watching YouTube, right? No matter, you can get all the content or whatever, but it's like, how do you structure it in your mind to the point where you can effectively trade? That's the important part. And that's very hard to answer. As a beginner, you need actual structure, guidance, so you could put those parts together and get the ultimate results that you desire. So once you went through the process, tell me where you had that moment where it actually clicked. You're like, like, what was that like for you as well as Caroline?
right. Well, for me, I think it came in stages. Like I was having the aha moments, every time I finished the module and proceeded to the next module, that connection was being made. So the aha moments was materializing every step of the way, from one module to the next module, number two to number three, four to five, and so on and so forth. So, there was a lot of revelations that was happening as I progressed through the modules. And it just made me realize on previous courses that I've taken and how confused I felt. And then following literature and books and not knowing what was going on. And then, going through the course, and it was like, man, this makes so much sense now. This is awesome. Me and my wife was talking about that. It was like, you know what? This is crazy that everything that we was reading, all the videos that we was watching, all of the things that we were trying to do on our own, it wasn't enough. But through your course and the way you guys structured, the way you guys just broke things down, very simple, and it was just like, you know what, this makes so much sense. and it just gave us the confidence. Yeah, so
Yeah, because I tried to read books before, but I didn't understand them. But like through your course, I learned every module, like he was saying, I learned to the simple way. Like it made focus on stuff that we really need to learn how to trade. It didn't have all the other stuff that it was confusing me.
Mhm. Mhm. Definitely. Like literature is very interesting. Even when I pick up certain books related to the stock market. Just being a technical trader, yeah, I can understand because of, the background I've developed, etc. But as a beginner, actually reading through it, you're like, I get it, because sometimes it's like, what are you talking about? Like, there's a better way that they could have wrote it or explain it
right,
in a simple way where people can actually grasp it. But literature is not necessarily like that. You know what I mean?
right,
And I'm happy that the course in general help you in that aspect, because that means whenever you pick up an additional resource such as let's say a technical analysis book or whatever focuses on technicals, you'll get it, right?
right,
There will be like,
right.
you'll be like, okay, I get that or whatever. So it's just going to enhance what you have already learned, which is awesome,
Absolutely,
beneficial.
absolutely,
So
absolutely.
so how did you find the actual simulation process? Because that's also key component to our course, is part of the structure where people succeed because, over time, if you keep with that process, you're going to be able to replicate it, right? That
Right,
was
right,
the very important to us, like seeing how people follow that structure and can actually find trades, set up entries, and see results at the end.
right. Well, I think that was very instrumental. I think you can only practice something for so long. At some point, you have to put it to the test, and you have to incorporate everything that you learn, put it to the test, and then you find out, what shortcomings or what things that you need to tweak, how you need to modify your game plan, or so I think the fact that you guys had basically implemented a system that allowed us to work on all of the things that we've been learning up to a certain point was great, because it gave us a confidence, to it gave us a confidence and the belief factor that said, what, after this is done, we can do this. We started to have that success, and it was only due to the fact that you guys taught so well, and the way the courses were structured, and just the simplicity, the approach that you guys came with as far as the explanations. The jargon wasn't so complex to the point where we just like, what, I don't know what the heck is going on. So I think all of that played an instrumental role. And like I said earlier, the fact that we were allowed to put that into practice through the simulation, it just brought it all together. And I think you know, that's what put us in a position right now, moving forward mentally, to say that, what, we got this, we can do this.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Like that process alone builds confidence. And that's the whole important part when it comes to trading. Many people lack confidence because they haven't seen results through a actual system they have put into place.
Right,
So it's like, how can you trade if you haven't even seen something work? So that
right,
simulation
absolutely,
process, when you see like, oh man, okay, hey Latoya, these options move XYZ. I see it as like good. When you actually put some money behind it, then you're gonna realize you're still implementing the same process that you've done in the simulated, kind of like environment. Really, it's not simulated environment because you're actually taking real market timing, right?
right,
Anticipating future timing, but you're just not using real money. So the,
right,
the process is the same, it's just that the money's not behind it. And that's
right.
that's very important. So would you recommend the program to anybody or?
Absolutely, absolutely. I have already been speaking to a number of friends and talking to them about, our journey with the program, and how we feel based on, our own experience. And one thing is you can't shortchange the process. I know a lot of people out there are just trying to find something that will, they're trying to find something that will allow them to escape the due diligence, the hard work, and will fast track them to the road of success, or the financial gains or whatever the case may be. And in the whole process, we realized that, just saying, you know what, let's, you know, there were certain components that you guys teach, guidelines that we need to adhere to and we need to look at every day before we make a trade. And when we didn't apply those things, or when we forgot to apply those things, we didn't achieve the results that we thought we were going to achieve or that we were used to. So I was like, you know what, you can't shortchange this. You actually have to follow the guidelines. You have to follow the structure, because when it boils down to it, that's all you have. You know what I mean? Because if not, you're going you're going to fall victim or succumb to just emotions. You start to panic, the anxiety, the nervousness, because you're doing something wrong, but it wasn't based on sound principle, it wasn't based on the structure and whatnot. So we found that really early that, we cannot exclude any of the parts, any parts of the whole that is given to us, that is geared towards making us successful. So I found out to be true myself personally. What do you think, Carol?
You just preached.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely, definitely. No get rich quick overnight. It's definitely a process. Is a process. I always tell people, when you get into trading in particular, not necessarily investing. We understand that investing, you can buy something, you do your due diligence, and you're more so holding long term, right? That could be 10, 15, 30, whatever, 40 years. But when it comes to trading, we're more so trying to anticipate and so-called right market time, as they say. So there's a process to it. And that process is actually what we provide, right? We
Right,
provide it because it's based off of our experience. We know what works, we know what does not work. So what we do for all of our students is not necessarily like, here, do this. It's not like that. It's more so there's a structure to help you think through the process, number one. And then there's the actual blueprint that would keep you consistent while you're replicating and continuously doing the process,
right,
So that's really, really sound, and it's important to understand that as well. Because you can always take it and tweak it to something based off of your experience through seeing the markets, right? Let's say you see
right,
yourself constantly doing something and you're like, man, I shouldn't be doing that because every time I do this, I don't get the results I desire. You put that a part of your trading plan, like, I should not do this, period.
right,
So you're making that now a part of your process to avoid the hurt fall.
right, right,
Yeah, definitely.
right. I think another thing is, you know, um, trying to recreate the wheel before you even got a grasp of just the wheel itself, how it moves and things like that. You have to have just a fundamental knowledge first. Grab the concepts, get all the concepts, learn what you need to learn first. After you learn that, then you can, like you were saying, what you was alluding to earlier, then you can add your own personal touch to it, but not before getting a broader understanding of whatever you're trying to learn first. And in this particular case, stocks, learn what you need to learn first. And after you have a good understanding, a good grasp, and then you can tweak it based on what kind of works for you as you play around with it, as you gain the experience. And that's what I'm trying to do now. Just like, you know what, let me focus on mastering the materials and the just mastering what you guys giving us right now. And after doing that, then it's like, okay, I found this works too, or this right here works also, but not before. So, that's been helpful. And the fact that you guys are there, you guys are available for any questions, I can reach out to someone will always get back in contact with me. And I enjoy, the sessions, because anything that I didn't understand, it was always, the instructor or the educator was always able to break it down so I can move forward without feeling like, what, I'm stuck here. I don't know what to do now. And now I'm feeling uncomfortable about moving forward. There was never a point in time where I moved forward and there was, I was kind of skittish, or I was reluctant to do so, because I feel like I didn't have all the necessary you know you know the necessary help, rather. Yeah.
Hmm.
So I've always received that help that made me confident to move forward. We both did.
Can you tell me your most memorable trade during the process? Tell me something you've learned from and something like what's memorable to you.
So, okay. um 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 you know what the thing is, all the trades that we partook in, you know they all made me pretty happy, because as long as I stuck to the game plan, for the most part, everything that we've done, when we've um, did the technical analysis, when we drew our supports and resistance levels, when we diagnosed the patterns or the candlesticks and whatnot, when we made up our mind and say, you know what, based on what we see here, this is what I think, or this is what we believe is going to happen. For the most part, I would say probably like 80% of the time, it turned out the exact way we thought it was gonna happen. Um, Nylock in particular, what it
And
was,
so,
Inlock, was one that turned out beautifully, and I think it still is paying dividends right now. It's crazy, and I'm like, man, like this is crazy, and quite a few of them have done that, but that one in particular, and there's a few, but that one stands out because even after we got out of the trade, it continued to go up. So it continued to follow in the direction that we saw based on technical analysis, based on what you guys taught us. So every time that we entered a trade and did our due diligence, did our homework, the great thing is it turned out pretty much how we anticipated for the most part. So for me, that's been great to see, for the most part. Yep.
and the ones that we didn't achieve what we wanted, we learned from it. We went back and we see, like, we look to see what we did wrong, and we're like, oh yeah, we have to make sure that we do this next time.
Yeah. And like you were alluding to, and earlier, and what you teach in the courses, you have to have it set up. You have to see it right in front of your face, because there's so much going on that you will have the tendency to overlook a number of different things. So, just setting up alerts, just something as simple as setting up alerts, caused us, in our simulation trades to lose money. You know what I mean? Because we forgot to set up alerts for exits, or whatever the case may be, and it's like, so we could have done a lot better than we have. And those are the different things that you guys have been preaching, that have to be adhered to, or you're not going to receive the results that you expect. So, and that's that reinforcement, and I'm even grateful to those things, even in the small setbacks and whatnot. It's still a learning lesson, and it doesn't discourage me. It just tells me, you know what, you could have did better had you did what you were supposed to do based on, so I'm only encouraged moving forward.
That's where we learn the most is from our losing trades. It's not necessarily the winners. The winners are, just a reinforcement, but the losing trades is what we really learn from. We go back, we back test, we figure out what we could have done better so we won't repeat that mistake again and just improve as we move forward. So that's very insightful. And another thing I was clarifying was basically you're not day trading the options, therefore you're holding more than one
Right.
day, which classifies as a swing. How does that work for your schedule?
It works really well because my wife and I, we have different schedules. I go to work early in the morning. I have to get up at 3, 4 in the morning, and she gets up at 6:30. She goes to work at 6, and get off later in the evening and whatnot. So our times um, are very different, but swing trading allows us to still participate in the market. We don't have to sit in front of a computer every day. We do our technical analysis. We scan our charts. We set it up over the weekend, and we're ready to rock and roll on Monday. And we don't have to sit in front of the computer. So I mean that's great for us. It's been good.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate your time, Maurice and Carolyn. I like to say, listen, I'm happy you two are doing it together. That's huge. And I would love for you all to continue to move forward and, we'll track your progress and we'll definitely follow up. Any parting words before we depart?
No, I think well, I do absolutely. So I would just like to say to you guys, I think you guys are doing a great job. And I think the integrity within the company, it says a lot about you guys, great character. And I only wish for you guys to continue to succeed, the best to you. And I know on my part, I'm going to keep trying to funnel people your way because I think what you guys are doing and the way you guys are teaching, um, is like a breath of fresh air because there's a lot of individuals that's out there that have companies and whatnot, but they're not invested in the person. They're invested in their product, which is understandable, but they're not invested in the person. And I thank you guys for being invested in the people that you're teaching. And that's apparent from the jump. And I appreciate that. So thank you for that.
Thank you. We definitely will continue. We're not changing anything within our structure because our students are a reflection of us. It is that simple. We have so many successful students left their job, quit their part-time job, do it full-time, whatever, bought houses, you name it. And we will continue to basically pour into our students who trust in us and trust in the process. And I definitely appreciate both of your time. Thank you. And we'll definitely be touching base.
All right. Appreciate you. All right.